Can you hear me? All right. So I come from a great big blended family where I am exactly in the middle of 5 girls. And we're definitely not like the cute, like Brady Bunch big step family where we like formed a family band and no one ever mentioned like the spouses that were there before them. Just we were like the kind of messy, slightly angry step family. We all kind of hated each other a little bit at different times, and there was definitely only one bathroom. When my parents first got married, there were actually only 4 of us, 2 from my stepdad and 2 from my mom, and the 4 of us were all almost exactly 1 year apart. I think when they got married, we were 1st, 2nd, 3rd, and 4th grade. So you can imagine that my parents sort of developed some important coping mechanisms to deal with this crazy family that eventually had a new baby and like 4 sort of squirming, screaming, elementary school age girls all over the place all the time. And one of their sort of greatest rules that they created was that everyone must take lessons. Like, you want to take a pottery class, you want to be on the softball team, like whatever, just get out of the house. All of us lessons all the time. And I did all kinds of things. I took an archaeology class. I remember they let me dissect a fetal pig when I was like in the 3rd grade, some weird science class I took. All different kinds of things. But my other 3 sisters were like very singularly focused on one thing and one thing only. And that was dance class. All of them, from like grade school all the way through high school. It was like glitter unitards and Paula Abdul dance remixes. I've probably spent several weeks of my life alone at dance recitals, just watching, which is not great. But because I was the middle child, and if you know anything about middle children, it's that we tend to be a little on the black sheepy side. And like being in the middle of this big messy sort of fivesome, I was like very like belligerently black sheepy. And if my sisters wanted to all take dance lessons, well, goddamn it, I did not want to do anything that they wanted to do, and I refused to do it. Except that secretly, I really wanted to do it. So my oldest sister, Saskia, who is also sort of the tallest and most willowy of the Munier sisters, was the family ballerina. And every fall, my mom would drive her. We lived in Augusta, and so every fall, my mom would drive her like an hour back and forth every weekend to do rehearsals for the Maine State Ballet Nutcracker. And during Tech Week, she used to let me come with her to Merrill Auditorium to watch them do the final dress rehearsal before the show. And I was obsessed. Now, for those of you who don't know the story of the Nutcracker, a little girl named Clara gets an enchanted nutcracker from her sort of creepy uncle, and then while she's sleeping, the enchanted nutcracker turns into a human adult man who then whisks her away to a fairyland where people dressed up as food dance for her. Magical and wonderful. And the whole thing starts out with this big party scene, and Clara is wearing this little like frilly dress, and she has little ringlet curls, and she has all these little friends who come to the party, and they're all dressed exactly like her in little pastel versions of the same dress with little ringlets, and they do like a little dance, and I was like, I wanted to be them. Like, they were right around my age, and I just thought that their dresses were so pretty, and I wanted to be them so bad. And when my mom would like not be paying attention, I'd go run around like the sort of like marble atrium area in Merrill Auditorium, like flouncing around like I knew how to dance, which I definitely didn't know how to do, and like praying to Jesus that one of the little girls would like fall off the stage and break her legs, and that they would be like, well, you're the right size for this costume, come on up here. And it never happened. But in the 5th grade, I finally got the courage to tell my mom that I really, really wanted to take ballet class. And it was a fucking disaster. So like by the time you get to 5th grade, all the other girls in your ballet class have been taking ballet since they were like 2. So you're far behind. And if you're me, then your body decides that 5th grade is the perfect time to go through like explosive puberty. And you are like, you can see your new stretch marks and your new pubic hair showing through your little pink tights. And you're just like watching your body turn into something else in these like really great floor to ceiling mirrors that they have in dance rooms. And you're wearing a leotard, which is just the best. So I struggled through my one sad year of 5th grade ballet. But to add insult to my already deeply injured self-esteem, the dance recital, the big culmination of all of my hard work that year, was going to be Peter Pan. And my class was assigned to be the Lost Boys. And so like all of my dreams, all of my fantasies about spangly tutus and pink ballet shoes, no. I had a pair of hiked up black sweatpants and a sideways baseball cap. There's one humiliating photo of me wearing this outfit, but yeah, I quit ballet and decided that my dance career was over. 5th grade, done. Until maybe it sort of wasn't done. Let's flash forward to 2008. I am 31 years old. I am going through a divorce. I have left my husband for another man, and I have lost a lot of my friends and my sort of emotional infrastructure in the process of doing that. And I am depressed, and I am eating everything, and I am trying to figure out, like, I have to build my whole life, my whole adult life from zero again. And I just felt really like lost and ashamed, and it was a really hard time for me. And I met this girl in my Pilates class named Kat, who is still one of my very dear friends. And she introduces me to her community dance company, this company called Vivid Motion. And they are this all ages, all sizes, all levels, all inclusive, like, let's just go have fun and get out there on stage and dance community dance company. And I'm really enchanted by them, but I still don't dance. But then I find out that Vivid Motion does a burlesque version of the Nutcracker every year. And I'm like, well, I need to get in on a piece of that. So I'm like, well, I'll help with costumes. But the thing about Vivid Motion is, like, that's sort of how they get you. Like, you're like, okay, I'll bedazzle a couple of push-up bras for you. And then all of a sudden you're like tangled in their world for life. And so like I bedazzled the push-up bras. And then like my friends are like, hey, you should start coming to company class. It's on Wednesdays, it's free, whatever, no big deal. And I was like, all right, I'll come. And I went to like 2 company dance classes, and then it was 2009 and it was Nutcracker tryouts. And they're like, come on, try out for the Nutcracker, it'll be fun. And I tried out, and it was a total fucking disaster. And you know, I'm 31, 32, I never really danced before, not since 5th grade. And learning how to pick up choreography, like someone does a little dance for you and then you're like, okay, do it back, is like a skill that you have to learn over many years. And 2 community dance classes was not really enough. And I didn't know what I was doing, and I was so nervous, and I was so hard on myself for not being like a professional dance level ballerina by that two class point. And it was a disaster, and I didn't get cast. And I was really sad. I didn't show that I was really sad, because I'm like, well, you just started dancing, you know, you rationalize. But instead of quitting, like I did with the Peter Pan incident of 1987, I kept going to class. And it was hard, because the class fed the show, and I would show up to class and the teacher would be like, all right, everybody, let's practice those tours jetés so that you can be ready for the Act 1 party scene. And I would look around and like realize that I was the only one in the class who wasn't in the show. And it sucked. But I did costumes again, and I practiced my tours jetés in the hallway while the other people were on stage. And I kept going. And so flash forward to 2010, I'd been going to dance class for a full year. I'm still not very good, but I'm gaining some confidence, and they know me, and I think they feel a little bit bad for me because I'm trying really hard, even though I'm not very good. And I try out for the Nutcracker, and I get cast. And it's awesome, until I show up for rehearsal. Because I'm in this big flashy snowflakes number, and they're all these beautiful white satin capes, and you pop them open, and it's very sexy and it's very fancy, and I was so excited to be part of it. But then they split us all up into groups by level, and I, of course, being the beginneriest of the beginners, was in the lowest group. And literally all we got to do in the big flashy amazing snow number was walk out on stage, do a sexy little pose, and then walk off stage while the ballerinas came on and like did all the really cool stuff. And it was sort of demoralizing. And I understood, yes, I haven't been dancing for very long, but I wanted to be better, and it just reminded me like how far back I still was, like how far behind everyone, just like in the 5th grade, like how far behind everyone I still was. But I kept on dancing. And another year of classes and another year of participating in this really wonderful, supportive environment. And it was 2011, and I tried out for the Nutcracker again. And then I got the phone call. And this time, the phone call wasn't just giving me a part, it was asking me to be Clara. And I totally, like, I'm not a crier. I'm getting a little misty now, but I'm not a crier. But like my little 5th grade heart running around Merrill Auditorium just like exploded into 1,000 rainbow tears, because I couldn't, like, I could tell that even though I still wasn't the best dancer, they could see how hard I was trying, and they could see how much I loved it. And they could see that there were good parts in me that were good enough to like take on this very important role in this show. And it really started to change the way that I saw myself as a person, as a woman, as a dancer, and it was just like this formative moment for me. And so now here I am. I just turned 40. I am training for my 6th Nutcracker burlesque coming out this Christmas. If you get to Portland, come see us. And I still am not great at picking up choreography, and I still feel not always great in a leotard in front of a full-length mirror, but I still love it, and I'm really proud of myself that I kept going. I'm sort of like hate about myself the fact that this story is like, never stop chasing your dreams, because that's terrible. But like, seriously, guys, never stop chasing your dreams. Like, it's actually good advice, as sort of terrible as it sounds out loud. Like, I think for me, the thing was not just chasing my dreams, but like allowing my dreams to be reframed a little bit, maybe with less tutus and more like PG-13 nudity. But it's out there. Like, your Clara moment is out there. Thank you.